He has done me well. Oh, my soul, rise up and praise the Lord. Okay, we have some amazing things lined up for you on this last day. Ifineta is going to be joining us. Someone is supposed to come very briefly, but I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to chat with them. Okay, what's going on? I'm going to be bringing Ife in any moment from now. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful to be able to see this day. I am grateful. Oh, people are wishing me happy birthday in advance. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just grateful to God for His goodness, His mercies, His tender mercies, His kindness towards me. He's a good God that is extremely kind to me. And I am full of gratitude. Hallelujah. I'm just full of gratitude. I'm full of gratitude. Okay. Wow. So, yeah, if it's ready, so I think I'm just going to bring her in right away. So it is. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Papa.
Okay.
Oh, my Papa. Happy birthday.
See
Oh,
the woman of God.
Papa, I celebrate you.
Our
Oh,
mommy.
oh no, my Papa. My Papa.
Mommy Efe is in the
Oh,
house. Give it to her.
no.
It's so wonderful
I
to have
celebrate
you,
you, Papa. Yes, sir.
back. She was following week, and we have her back. We have her
Yay.
back. Before you sing, there's this beautiful lady. I want her to sing one song while you're still in the studio.
Okay.
She runs
Okay.
away. She's my daughter.
Oh,
She's busy. She backs up for BC, and
okay.
very beautiful. I mean, but she runs away.
Where?
But she can't run away.
No, where is she?
She must
No, she can't run.
she
Let's
must
get
sing.
her in. Let's get her in. Where is she?
Yeah, I'm
Aha.
bringing her in now. I'm bringing her in. were knocked out for some interesting reason, but get back now. Back. Hey, I know things for me. On my birthday dinner, I've blown. Oh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So you can't run away today. Oh yeah, sing, flow. Yeah, still shy. We'll sing one more song before I won't release you just like that. So she's such a heavily powerful anointed vocalist, but she'll be forming shy. You look at her. Oh yeah, sing now. Sing one more song. Your favorite song. Wow. Ife, what do you have to say to that? Don't leave the studio. Anu, don't run away. Ife, what do you have to say to that?
But why is she running? Why have you been running away? Come on.
Oh yeah, answer. Anu.
Oh yeah. Anu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You have such an anointing upon your life. Why are you running away? Come on. Why? Huh?
I'm not running away.
Why you what? No. You know what? We're gonna go live. We're gonna go live when Papa is done. Both of us are going live. Okay? Yes. You can't run anymore. Please don't run. Keep saying this to God.
One of the most heavy vocalists. I'm serious.
Wow.
Heavy.
She's so anointed.
So anointed.
Wow. Yes.
Anu. Oh yeah, sing that song about your name. Anu. Anu. Oh yeah, sing it.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, should we free her or should we keep her?
Keep her. Please,
okay.
She should not go.
The mommy has said you are staying, so you are staying. Oh yeah, Ife, you can start. But you are staying, no, don't go. Stay in the studio. Oh yeah, Ife.
I know. So let's do this one together. What key are you on? BC? Is that BC?
Yes.
Is that
yes.
Hey, how are you doing? What key are you on? What key is that?
F.
I love stay there. Okay, go to, should we try G or C? G? Which works now?
G or C? Which
I
one?
love you, Lord. All my life you have been faithful. Where is that? All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I love you, Lord. For your mercy never failed me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, I sing with me. All my life, you have been faithful. Oh Lord, all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, Lord, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh Lord, all my life you have been faithful. Oh, all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, Lord, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love you, Lord. Woo! For your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, Lord, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, all my life you have been faithful. Oh, Lord, on my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh Lord, I will sing of the goodness of God. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. Oh, they are new every morning. They are new every morning. Oh, great is thy faithfulness. Oh, Lord, great is thy faithfulness. I exalt you, Lord. Yes. And I exalt you, Lord. Lord, I exalt you. Ooh. Oh, Lord, I exalt you, Lord. I exalt you. I exalt you, Lord. I exalt you. I exalt you, Lord. Oh, I exalt you. Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord. I'm going to change. Ènìyàn ìbá ti gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe ìwọ, Ọlọ́run tó lágbára. Ayé ìbá ti gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe ìwọ, ọba tó jà fún mi o. Yes. Ènìyàn ìbá ti gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe ìwọ, Ọlọ́run tó lágbára. Ayé ìbá ti gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe ìwọ, ọba tó jà fún mi o. Thank you for fighting my battle for me, Jehovah Olubeja. Thank you for fighting my battles for me, Jehovah Olubeja. Thank you for not leaving me to the wishes of my enemy. Thank you for fighting my battles for me, Jehovah Olubeja. Thank you for not leaving me to the wishes of my enemies. Yes, thank you for fighting my battles for me, Jehovah Olubeja. Thank you for fighting my battles for me, Jehovah Olubeja. Thank you for fighting my battles for me, Jehovah Olubeja.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Papa.
Anu, stay in the studio. Don't run away.
Anu, stay there. Anu, stay there.
Wow. Now we have this kid couple in the house.
Good morning.
Yeah.
The Winlos.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
So we brought them to Chicago this weekend to baptize them with our cold. How's the baptism going?
Oh, it's going very well.
So you are enjoying the baptism?
No.
I think we make sure the next visit will be in February.
No, thank God I came with my wife. She has been my warm.
Wow, thank you everybody for sharing this amazing day with me. Today is the last day of 30 days worship and wonders that we'll be having just towards my 50th, which is going to be tomorrow. And you know,
Wow.
and God
Happy
just put it on my heart.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Papa.
Thank you. God put it on my heart to just set 30 days aside leading to my birthday just to celebrate and honor God. But one of the things that I really want to communicate in these 30 days is that worship goes beyond the sound. The sound is meant to lead us to a lifestyle. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing the Winlos into this, program in this last day is we want to communicate some, because some people, worship for them is just the 15, 20 or 30 minutes they do in church on a Sunday morning. But the Bible talks about us becoming a living sacrifice, because true worship goes beyond the sound. The sound is meant to lead you into a lifestyle. And we have singers in the house, Anu and Efe, and me. I'm the son of a singer. Interesting enough, my dad was a choir master. But it just happens that gift did not reach me. Or maybe it was the person that discouraged me in youth choir that told me that I have an unpleasant voice. So they killed that potential in me. But anyway, we thank the Lord. So me, I'm not a worship leader. The Winlos, who knows? Maybe they even sing. Let me ask. Don't let me assume. Were you ever in the choir?
I sing the bathroom. I sing very well in the bathroom or in the toilet.
In the bathroom.
So if I'm going to sing in the church, I can just tell the worship leader, you see, give me that song, sing that song for me, But myself and God, we know how we do it inside. God understands. He understands my off key. Very well. No. He understands it.
What about your wife? What about your wife? Does she sing?
Yeah, I do. I sing, but don't mind him. He has not agreed to it. I sing.
I sing better.
Even from my voice, you can tell that I'm a good singer.
Oh yes, I can sense it.
I can tell. I can hear it. To sing, I can hear it.
Get right.
Efe, are you siding now?
Yes, no. Am I going to side you? Calm down, no.
Our off key is top notch, you.
Don't mind him.
Even the way she talks.
Can we try and sing now?
Yes, from her speaking voice.
Let's try.
You can tell.
Let's try. You will do the job.
Speaking voice. You can...
No.
Okay.
I need to rehearse first.
You need to rehearse.
You need to rehearse. We understand. Maybe at the dinner this evening we'll let you sing. Since you need to rehearse, maybe you rehearse in Gloria, and when you come to the dinner, you sing. You sing with Freke.
Okay. Okay, I want to start my career.
That's a good one.
No.
Because, okay. Wow. On the more serious note, these are the Winlos.
But for me, I think that if we really want to know who a true worshiper is what you do in your closet that really matters.
That's right.
Many a times you can come to a church, you can come for a concert, and you can be under pressure. To want to perform, especially when you see the singers upstage. For example, I see if he's singing, I'm like, God, when will I come to this level? But God is saying that, you see, there is something you can do in your closet. God doesn't even look at, he doesn't even check your keys or your notes.
That's a revelation. God does not check your keys.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
It just worship is about you being with yourself. It's like a fellowship with your Father. For example, if I'm going to be with my wife, I do not need to rehearse being how I'm going to be with her. There's no rehearsals. I don't need to practice how I'll be with my wife. So also it is with worship. You don't need to practice it. You just freestyle.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
in the
right.
presence of God.
Yeah.
Sing your off key with joy. I mean, with boldness.
Yeah.
You know, because your Father in heaven, He hears you.
He hears you. He hears you.
Yeah. What
So you don't need any key to connect with
Yeah.
him. That's
True.
you know, when I started pastoring in I think 93, 94, I was a young pastor then. So my keyboardist, you know, I had no idea about key or no key. I would just pick any song that I like and I start singing with the microphone. And my keyboardist will just lift his finger off the keyboard. And I'm wondering what's going on. And he would do like this. So after the service, I said, Oga, why did you stop playing? He said, Pastor, that key, it was, he said, you were just jumping from one key to another key.
To another.
Okay. So it was actually my first keyboardist that taught me how to sing on key. I'm not a professional singer, but I can pride myself on the fact that at least I can flow with keys. I know when I'm off key. And that's when I keep quiet. I respect myself at that moment. You know, I just tell the choir to raise it.
For us who are on stage, you know, it's very important that we mind how we sing, so that we don't kill the presence. You know, because we can just take people off.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
So that's the reason why certain times we would just say, "This is the song we want to sing. Can you just help us sing the song?" You know. Just for the flow of the atmosphere. You know, but for the people who are the pew, you know, it's important that you understand that, see, scatter yourself, sing anyhow.
Just get lost.
You know, just get lost. The way David did it, you know, shout if you want to shout, cry if you want to shout, you know. And you just realize that is when you feel God, you experience His presence, especially when you become very natural.
Yeah.
You know, because I also believe that in the spirit realm, language really doesn't matter. You know, some will say, why are you always singing with Yoruba? Why do you have to always sing with Benin? Or why do you have to always use pidgin English to sing? Or why do you always sing in tongues? No, in the realm of the spirit, language doesn't matter. You know, what God connects to is actually your heart. You know, so whatever you're saying with your voice is just for it's just for the people, you know, just for the people to actually hear what you are saying. But God actually sees your heart. You know, true worship comes from the heart. You know, it's out of your belly that flows rivers of living water. You know, it's not necessarily the language. Sing it, you know, break the keys, scatter it. But as long as your heart is connected to God, worship is nice, Jerry.
Worship is
wow.
For example, if you were singing just now, you know, she was singing in Yoruba. You know, I don't hear Yoruba. You know, I don't understand Yoruba. You know, but I could feel the spirit. You know, I could connect. I just started speaking in tongues, hearing her voice. So it's beyond the language. It's beyond what you are saying. It's what is being communicated in the spirit to God. You know,
and you can see when she was singing, as much as we could not understand what she was saying, we didn't know the meaning because we're not Yorubas, but we could feel the spirit.
True.
Why? Because she's not just a worshiper on Instagram. She's a worshiper first in a secret place.
That's true.
So when she comes out like that, she's already cooked. So she's coming to present what has been cooked, not trying to be cooked on stage. So she's and then she comes out there. So you feel the spirit even when you can't understand the language.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
Wow.
That's right.
Thank you for that powerful exhortation of worship.
Seriously.
I'm serious. So now let's talk about the Winlos. A couple of years ago, before Instagram days, when it was just Facebook, I don't know, maybe somebody shared a post and here comes this amazing couples. I mean, funny with a clear message. And I'm like, who are these people? So I started following them on Facebook. And over the years, I've been so blessed, you know, watching your skits, the creativity in it, the clarity of the message, you know, with a clear sense of commission. You know, people can do ministry as career And there are people that do ministry because it's ministry.
Sure.
You know, when there's a distinct call, somebody, you know, it's one thing to produce skits because you are funny and you think, you know, people will like your skits. It's another thing to produce skits because there's a calling that you believe God has given you an assignment to fulfill. And ever since then, I've fallen in love with you. And today, as we're talking about worship, I want you to share your experience, how you came to embrace this ministry, because it's an amazing creative ministry. And the Lord told me there's going to be a whole lot of ministries like that in this end time, that beyond seeing the preacher behind the pulpit, you know, there's a communication of the wisdom of God through art, through creativity. I want you to let us know how it began, how it started, the journey, because some of us don't know the journey. We just see the production, the excellence, the funny, the amazing Winlos. Please, can you let us know how it all began?
Okay. First of all, we started when we got married. So we're not acting together when we were dating. I think that was in 2013. Our marriage is 8 years old now.
Yeah.
So then I was a youth pastor. Sorry. Yeah.
It's shocked. It's like we started acting in marriage.
Okay, yes, we started acting in marriage. I read sociology, she read biochemistry. So we're not into acting.
Who read biochemistry?
I did. I read biochemistry.
And you read what?
Sociology, University of Ilorin.
Wow. I'm a pharmacist, by the way. So at least we are close.
Yes, we're close.
We're close. Wow. Sociology, biochemistry. Yes. So no theater art foundation.
No at all. Nothing. Wow. So then
please,
I was a youth pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And when they made me a pastor, then was that I don't want to be the regular pastor. I don't want to be an ordinary pastor. I want to reach out beyond the four walls of church, you know. So I just kept praying for instructions and direction. You know, these prayers actually took me months, you know. Then one day I was at home and we stumbled on a skit. You know, then people don't do skits for professionally as at that time. You know, the skits that we had then were just for commercial purposes. Like, for example, there's a show and they need to advertise the comedy show. So they just hacked a skit. And so I stumbled on this advert. It was a skit. And I loved it. You know, I was watching, it was a story about a pastor. It was funny. But in the end, I realized that they messed up the man of God. I mean, they messed up the man of God. You know those kind of a skit where you just know that they just spoiled, they told our story wrongly and all those stuff. You know, I was not happy. You know, I said, God, when are we going to start telling our own story by ourselves? Why will the world just take us and they just keep messing us? They talk bad stories about the church and people laugh about it. They talk bad stories about men of God and people laugh about it. And nobody takes things seriously again. So while I was talking to myself, the Spirit of God said, that is why I've called you. I need to go to that fair. I said, to go and do what? I don't act, I don't do anything. He said, no. He said, you need to enter that fair so that you can be among the people that we tell our story from our perspective. You know, because if our light refuses to shine, darkness will keep shining. And they will tell the narrative of who we are. I said, wow, how do I go about this? I don't know anything about acting. I don't know anything about editing and all this stuff. So I called my wife and I told her that this is the direction God is telling us, that we should start acting. She said no, that she would never do it.
You know, I would have argued that both of you've been doing drama forever.
She said no, that she can never do it, that she will not be able to act, you know. So I kept it. But the point was this, because the Spirit of God has told me, I became very restless. I went online trying to search who is doing what we want to do. I realized that there was really nobody doing this kind of a thing as at that time, and it was so heavy on us. So I told my wife, I said, we really need to start. So we decided to give it a name. I said, okay, let us call ourselves, what should we call ourselves? So I remember that we had an American friend who would come to our house because she cannot pronounce my name Ois, and she cannot pronounce my wife's name Angoli.
Yeah.
She usually calls us Winlos. She combines our name together and say Winlos. That's Ois, Angoli, Winlos. I said, okay, let's call ourselves Winlos. I don't want to put drama ministry attached to it or fire ministry, because we need to be strategic in this end time, so we just called ourselves the Winlos. And we did our first skits. When we did our first skits, oh God, it was horrible. We put it out on YouTube, and I started calling my friends, guy, come and watch our skit. I called my family member, nobody want to watch. Then as well, people could not stream on YouTube as well, because it was really expensive streaming online. You must be saying something meaningful for somebody to go check you out on YouTube. So I had to force two of my friends to come and watch our videos. One called me back and said, man, Luis, I've watched your video. He said, man, you and your wife, una just the fool on herself. Una don't hold now. One go just do mumu things. So the other one called back and said, man, Luis, you and your wife, you guys are better off behind the camera. Just find somebody to do the acting, and you guys stay behind the camera. Just be doing the directing. You guys are not good for this thing. I just told myself, I said, this is it. This is it. We're going to keep doing it. So we kept at it, and we just kept creating skits, on marriages, on relationships. I just realized that it started blessing lives from one person to two to three. Then all of a sudden to millions of people, and that's how the journey started.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's hear from the biochemists, my fellow scientists. So when it came to you and said the Lord said we should be doing this kid thing, what was going on in your mind?
I was like, in my mind, I'm like, where? I don't think you heard God well, because I can't even act. I've never acted. I mean, it's always even fair. Because before we got married, he had acted 1 or 2, 3 times, in his school. But for me, I had never acted. I've assisted people to bring props to stage, but I had never acted. So it was a very funny one. I'm like, you need to hear this God well. It's not me and you that will do this thing. I did not come into this marriage because of drama.
Wow, and also for her, she's been experiencing shock from the relationship to when we got married, because she was dating a guy that wasn't a pastor. She knew that she was going to get married to somebody that wasn't going to be a pastor. And suddenly, while we were about getting married, I just came up and said, I'm going to be a pastor. They just made me a pastor.
Yes.
And she was trying to deal with that, and we were trying to are we still going to get married or not? And now she's considering getting married to me after I've shocked her as a man of God. And now we got married, and the next shocker is that let's be anti-drama. It doesn't make sense.
It was so annoying because I never wanted to marry a pastor. So first of all, I was comfortable that both of us were just going out in a relationship. He was a man of God. I explained father I was Christian. I've seen all those virtues. I'm fine with it. Just stay there. Before you knew it, he told me that in church that they've made him a pastor. They are like, what? Oh my God, it was horrible. I'm like, are you sure I want this relationship to continue? It took a pastor's wife to tell me that, is it just because of the pastor thing you don't want to? I was like, I don't want to marry a pastor. I'm not in for it. Pastors, they used to suffer.
Let me ask you, are we that bad?
They used to suffer. I don't want to go through stress in my life. I'm already stressed. I don't want to be out there.
Are we that bad? Are we that bad? I know, are we that bad? That women because of the call of God upon our life, they will friend zone us. This one can only be my friend.
Seriously, I told him that we should allow 2 months. We're not talking in our relationship. I said, please stay on your own first. Let me say, I want to hear God again because that is our journey. Only for us to come back, we continue. Then we now got married. We got married, and he told me a few months after marriage, I've never finished breathing.
A month.
And God said, come and be anti-drama.
I've not finished breathing. I've not finished accepting the call. And like he said, woke up one morning that God said we should do that. I said, you are who? Which God? Where are you to hear God? I said, okay, let me hear this God. Where? And you know the funny thing about how this thing plays. You know the funny thing about how God has really dealt with me and us is, many years ago, like more than 20 years, when I was in school, studying my biochemistry, I was just in the hall, the fellowship I was attending at the back. And then they invited a guest minister. I came around to minister. And then next thing he said, you there, you, that girl there. I was like, which girl at that point? So me, I turned back. He said, I turned. He said, no, you turning back. And I looked. He said, you are going to be a global actress. I'm like, where, how? I've never acted. I don't even have a passion for acting. Is this man dream? What is he even saying?
She wants to read public health.
He said, yes, I wanted to read public health. I really wanted to advance. Like, I had plans for my life like this. I was just there. The man said, it's you I'm talking to. The Holy Spirit said I should tell you that you're going to become a global actress. In my mind, I said, this man not yet.
So it was at that point she knew the man of God was fake.
Yes. I said, no.
Until 20 years after.
20, and I did not act in school. So it's not like that.
Acted. The prophecy just came.
The prophecy just came.
And the prophecy was odd.
Very odd.
And years after, she found herself in that prophecy that was spoken concerning her life.
Wow, interesting.
And God really had to
we're talking about
to marry somebody like
you. God have to orchestrate myself to marry someone like you.
Yes, that can help the prophecy to fulfill the prophet.
I wasn't when the man even said that.
So when she was making yanga for me those years, she didn't know that I was in a prophetic line, to make sure destiny comes to pass.
So she needs to be giving you prophet offering. So she needs to be giving you prophet offering.
I've tried.
So in fact, you are a destiny helper.
I'm telling you, sir.
Destiny, real destiny helper.
I used to tell her every time, I said, thank God that you married me. Thank God. Prophecy
Wow.
not for Fido.
So she would have missed it.
Desperate about my life. I would have missed it.
Wow. The shocker for me is that you have no formal training and background in theater arts.
Nothing. No film
purely
academy, nothing.
By the word of the Lord. Just a Rhema word.
Yes.
And it battered this global platform.
Yes. I think it's God that actually just breathed on this. I think there was something you said before we started, that in this end time, God is going to be manifesting in different ways and in different dimensions. And he is going to be leaving the pulpits, and he will be going into the society, to find medium at which he's going to be reaching out to the world. And the king's business demands haste, when God is doing his dealing, he's not waiting to train a David before he will kill a Goliath. He puts his spirit in David and say, David, you can do the war. So that's what is going to be happening in our generation, where God is going to be equipping people by himself. Where you will not even be needing formal training or formal knowledge as regards certain things. The Spirit of God will begin to teach our hands how to war. So that's what we saw in our lives. We saw it mighty in our life. Even when we won the award in Florida, they were asking, like, okay, who does this for you? Who does the writing? Who wrote the scripts? How do you guys go about the stuff? I was trying to tell them, I said, I practically do everything. It was of recent, I started getting staff, people who now work for us, video editors and writers and all. But prior to them, it was while we started, I started learning a lot of things, learning how to edit videos, learning how to write scripts, and for the first 2 years or 3 years when we started, I practically was doing a lot of that, by the leading of the Holy Ghost.
Wow. I would have argued, they have background in theater art. Maybe they even met when they were acting together. Because that's the way it looks. It looks like the way both of you synchronizes is like they've been doing this forever. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Of course, as a preacher, I know what it means for God to call the unqualified
True.
You know, in fact, when I share my own story, let me share my testimony.
Okay.
You know, when people talk about supernatural Dr.K these days, they need to know where I'm coming from. I started out, you know, when I got saved in the 80s, I mean 88, yeah. And you know, SU movement was very, very strong. Yeah. And you know, and I mean, some people even took it to the other extreme that it was, I mean, the teaching about holiness is great, but when it now becomes condemnation, you go to church, they will condemn you, pieces you, wire you down. Yes. I was doing fine after I met the Lord until I started going to fellowship. It was fellowship that they killed my zeal. I went to church one day in 1988, a fellowship, not even church, fellowship. And the person that was preaching said, you call yourself a man of God, you call yourself a child of God. And you're there watching the late night movie. What will happen if Jesus comes right there? Can you imagine somebody just got saved 6 months and you are saying, I can't even watch. You know, I nearly ran mad after that message. I went back home. I was doing my A-levels then. I went back home. My parents were in the living room. They called me, oh, Kyle, can you come? So I went into the living room and they were watching TV. So I remember the message the guy preached. And I didn't want to go to hell. So I turned my back at my parents just to make sure I was not looking at the TV. And my parents were like, look at us. I'm like, no, anything you want to say, say it. My mom was very concerned. What's happening to my son?
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't do sports. We couldn't watch movie.
Wow.
So the weight was so much on me that after a while I said, God, you know, at this point, I need a break. So I went into a backsliding state.
Wow.
And that was how I was when I entered the faith. I entered the faith, I was still a Christian. Pharmacy, I did pharmacy in Ife. I entered the faith, I was still a Christian, but I was not so interested in church and fellowship because of my funny experience. Yeah. So my whole first year was a kind of Christian, you know. I was going after girls, you know. I mean, me, I didn't have a car, but I have brain. I'll tell girls in my class, you have a problem with this maths, I can teach you. That was my strategy. So I was using math skills to bring girls to my side. So that was me in part one. Then I went back home. I mean, I grew up in Ibadan, so I went back to Ibadan, and you know, a friend of mine, Bukola is her name, was turning 18. And, you know, so she invited me. So, oh, Kaude, will you come for my 18th birthday? And I said, I'll come. And I was already in university. Most of the people that were in the party were people believing God to enter school like I've entered. You know, I entered at 16 plus. You know, they were like, so there was so much respect for me, you know, university student, you know, from Ife, pharmacy. So I sat down and I was feeling cool. And I saw a bunch of 18-year-old, 17-year-old in that party. And I was just I wanted to be noticed. So I called Buki. I said, Buki, what are you doing in this party? He said, we will do this, we will dance. And I felt like, let me say something they are not familiar with. They've not been to campus. We are from campus. So I thought of it. And I remember, although I was not going to fellowship, I went to a birthday of people that go to fellowship. Yeah. And there's always a part in their birthday that they will say, let somebody share the word. So I said, Buki, is anybody sharing the word? And Buki said, what do you mean by that? This is a party. I said, that's what we do on campus.
Yes.
When we do birthdays like this, somebody shares the word. And remember, they were not university. So anything I say, they will just absorb it. Say, we don't know anything about that. Okay, we'll put it on the program. And Buki looked at me. He said, will you do it? I didn't plan for that. But now the question has been thrown back to me. So, I mean, remember I was forming. So I said, anything for you, girl, I'll do it. But in my head, I was like, do what? You that have not been to church for how many months? Do what? So they put it on the program, share the word, and they put my name across it. So when it turned to the part of share the word, they turned to me and said, oh yeah, college student, university student, come and share the word. We are not familiar with it, but you said that's what you do on campus.
Yes.
So So I stood in the middle of a bunch of maybe 20, 30 teenagers. And I said, shall we pray? And they bowed down their heads to pray. And the rest is history.
Wow. Wow.
I opened my mouth and I preached like I was born to preach.
Wow.
I did not only preach, I gave prophecy.
Wow.
I did not only prophesy, I cast out demons.
Come on.
Wow.
So when I teach grace, I teach what I experienced.
Yes.
The power of God was so strong on me. In fact, that was the end of the party. People were falling out under the power. People were screaming. And I knew what to do. That was the most shocking part. I will walk up to somebody with a demonic spirit and say, come out.
By the Spirit.
And the demon will fly out. Hey. I ruined the party, literally.
Wow. Wow.
People were crying. People were rolling on the floor. And the presence of God had enveloped me at that point.
Wow.
The Shekinah glory of God. And of course, one by one, everybody walked out of that party sober.
Wow.
And so I also took my things and I was going home. And as I was going home, I looked up. I said, God, don't kill me. Because I was scared. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? So I got home, I lied on my bed, and that presence stayed on me all night. I woke up the following morning, the presence was still on me.
Yeah.
Like a crazy man, I started looking for a church in my neighborhood. I found one, joined every department joinable. By the time I returned back to school the following semester, the people that knew me the previous session could not understand me again. You. And the following year, or a few months after, I had an encounter with Jesus. And he said, I've called you to the nations. Raise me a supernatural me. No background in ministry. No preacher in my lineage. And I started to flow in all the Nikes of the Spirit right from that day.
Wow. Wow. God is faithful.
So now I now have to start doing catch up with the word, with study.
Wow.
So I understand what it means for God's calling to come upon the unqualified.
That's true. That's true.
In fact, you know, it was so bad that there was rumor all over Ife at some point that I was an occultist, because they just how can somebody go home? I'm talking about brethren persecuting me.
Yes.
It was like Paul changing overnight. They said, no way. We were the one following on before. He went home and he came back and he started giving word of knowledge. He started laying hands. Miracles start happening in his gathering. No, it's fake. Maybe he went somewhere. Maybe he went to his village. I said,
yes.
People could not understand it. So I understand your story to an extent. How God picks you in spite of your lack of training, lack of background. And he says, I need you for the assignment. And you know the reason why he does that? So that nobody can share the glory with him.
That's true. That's true. And even us can't even take the glory. We just know we are.
You know, I tell people, I said, when people are trying to say, okay, for example, for this bad day, you will see people in the bad day from all over the world today. They flew from different countries, and you know, you say, oh, you're a great apostle, you have planted churches. I said, what did I do? I didn't do anything. No, I was just following the shepherd. He said, do this. I'm serious. I've left Nigeria. Yesterday makes it 22 years I've left Nigeria. And I left Nigeria with a church that was like 120 members in Lagos, one church in Lagos.
Wow.
And to have planted multiple churches all over the nation, in the last 22 years, in spite of the fact that I don't live in Nigeria, I only visit Nigeria 2, 3 times, 4 times at most. I spend an average of 4 to 6 weeks in Nigeria a year. And yet I have sons and daughters in thousands, multiples of thousands, all over Nigeria, in different African countries, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Kenya. It does not make sense.
Doesn't add up.
I cannot claim the credit. It's not because my prayer life is outstanding. It's not because the only thing I've done right over the years is hear the voice of God and follow it.
True.
And the rest is history. He specializes in turning, you know, a novice into a wonder.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I get scared when I see people that they want to tell people how they succeed. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. 7 steps. I'm like, okay, you are very smart, though. Some of us are not that smart.
Because true.
Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build.
They labor in vain.
Except the Lord keeps the city, the watchman wakes up on his vain. Say it is vain to rise up early and to sit up late. For so the Lord gives sleep to his beloved.
True.
Yes, sir.
One of the strangest moves of God we've had in our ministry took place over 3 years ago. And how was it battered? We got a facility in Chicago. By God's grace, you will see it very soon. I mean, an amazing facility. Is like a whole street, 15 minutes from downtown.
Wow.
And, you know, people could not believe a church pastor by the migrant with this kind of facility. We already had a facility before then that seats 400 people. Very nice, which a lot of people envied. Now to another one. So we were there celebrating God for giving us that facility, praising God. And in the midst of that celebration, the Lord spoke to me. He said, do you know this facility you got it because the previous owner lost a generation. Wow. He said 40 years ago, the church that owned this facility was the biggest in this neighborhood. Wow. The man was on TV, the man was on radio. Wow. There was a school that was operating in the facility because we bought the church with the school. So there's a school inside the facility. He said, but you know, 40 years after, he had to lose the same facility to an immigrant like you. He said, because he lost a generation. He said, 40 years ago, they were the biggest voice in this neighborhood. But they did not pay attention to the upcoming generation. They were so much into their generation. And now 40 years after, the man is in his 80s. He said, there's nobody to hand over to. And I had to bring somebody all the way from Africa to take over the facility he had labored for. And the Lord spoke to me in that encounter. I said, you've been doing ministry for over 20 years. He said, people have been raised. But guess what? There's a new generation arising. And if care is not taken, you will turn apostles to ushers. You will turn prophets to choir members. Because your focus is on your generation. But there's a generation I'm raising. And I said, Lord, what do I do? He said, go back to Nigeria where you all began, where it all started, and start a new movement. He said, start a new movement. He said, not a youth church. He said, give them a separate identity. Because it's meant to communicate to a peculiar generation. And that's how we started the new in Lagos 3 years ago. The new started. Now the new is in multiples of thousands in just over 3 years. The rates they are growing all over Nigeria and outside Nigeria, I don't even understand. Now, can you not imagine? You now ask me, okay, how have you been able to start a strong movement like the new? You know, having started King, so now you start the new. And I will now see that will be step 1. This is what you do. You go to the mountain. Step 2, you know, you fast for 21 days. Step 3, it was a rebuke. A rebuke turned into a major move. God was rebuking me that you must pay attention to a generation intentionally. And look at what it has turned to. It has turned into a major revival. A revival that I know nothing about. The only thing I did right was had God and followed God. Even God told me from inception, he said, you know, he said, these people, he told me the person that will lead the movement, who was a dancer as of that time, 4 years ago. The gentleman that leads the new Shola was leading a dance group, choreography. That's what he was doing. And the Lord told me he's supposed to be the pastor. So I told him, I said, Shola, you're going to pastor a new movement. It's called The New. I said, Daddy, no way. Interesting enough, he just joined. He said, Daddy, no way. Do you know, as of the day I ordained him, when I went to Nigeria 4 years ago, he came to my office in Lagos. He said, sir, can we not do the ordination? I said, Shola, I'm closing my eyes. If I open it and you are still here, he said, this land will swallow you. Get out. So I ordained him against his wish. He still says it to tomorrow. He said, I was forcefully ordained. That's how I turned a dancer into an apostle.
Wow.
4 years ago.
Wow.
And it looks like a perfect move of God. We had everything together. It was something, God gave me a revelation in form of a rebuke. That a generation is being neglected. And you know, concerning your creative expression, the Lord just spoke to me right now. This Gen Z generation, what those people will create.
True.
Is going to be, and that's why we need to take the church out of the traditional mold.
True.
The church of Jesus Christ needs to be more dynamic, and we need to pay attention to art and creativity. Because the upcoming generation, there are certain expressions they have that are going to be just unique. And we must be sensitive to the expressions of their creativity. And thank God for you. I'm going to call you this because the Lord told me that's who you are. Because you are an apostle in the creative space. I'm talking to you. Both of you. You're apostles in what? In the creative space. And thank God for you for obeying God, for doing what we have you do. Can you imagine how many millions you would have starved of impact if you have not obeyed God? If your wife has fought you and say, I did not marry a theater art person. I mean, you, this man, you are crazy. You said you wanted to be a pastor. I let you be. Now, you said now, the next thing is you want to go and be acting alone. No. Do you know some women will pack out of your house because of that? You said this man has lost it.
That's true.
If you want to ruin your life, ruin your life. Don't ruin our life. It's just 1 month. In fact, we can do annulment. We can annul this thing. Go your way. I go your way. I go my way. Don't act drama. And today, when you see her doing, she looks like she was born as like she came out of the womb, and she was acting right from day one. That's, I mean, someone for some, and that is what the grace of God does.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
That is what I'm so sure if I ask if for our story too where singing is concerned, she has a story to say. I mean, the same thing with Anu. The grace of God highlights your life.
Yes, sir.
He highlights your life and he turns you into. Is Anu, is BC still there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
BC, let's see your face. Yes, this is BC, is my son. He owns a studio, an amazing voice, you know, amazing man. He's in Akure doing amazing thing, you know. A lot of people follow him. What people don't know about BC is this. BC till tomorrow has the record of the best students ever in the higher institution which he attended.
Wow.
Studying what? What did you study?
Computer science, sir.
In fact, officially, BC is a PhD student in computer science in FUTA. Wow. He's a lecturer.
Wow.
But the calling is music. The training is computer engineering. And it's not just a training, he's the best. He was the best student in first degree, best student master's. They forced him into PhD. Wow. You know, when your own lecturer says, I've collected the form for you, when are you starting? You are too brainy not to go into PhD. So he's going to get his doctorate anytime soon.
Wow.
And someone will see him singing and say, this boy, is it that he doesn't have any other thing to say or to do? You know, the call of the Bible says the gift and calling of God are without repentance. Now, let me ask you, why did you do biochemistry?
I studied biochemistry because what I really wanted, what I loved so much was medicine. I wanted to study medicine.
That was where I was going. So you wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah, I want to be a doctor. They call me Dr. Anwili, not Pastor Anwili.
So you married this man and he changed your course totally.
It changed my medical career, changed my medical direction totally.
You know, it was as bad as she had gotten admission in Ghana to go study her public health when we got married.
Yeah.
No, before we got married. You know, she had gone to Ghana to go and resume.
The thing failed.
So I told her that. I said, this thing will, if it's not God's will, it will fail. But I'm not going to stop you, but you can go.
The prophet released the words.
So she traveled to Ghana to go resume, and somehow it did not just work out fine. So she had to come back. She had to just come back. At every point when she was trying to make sure that she's not going to get married to me and all those stuff, it wasn't working. Even when she was trying to tell everybody, tell our pastor, tell everybody that, you see, he always needs a work, always needs to go get a job. We should he should get a work, a job. Let's know that he resumes 8 o'clock, then close 5 o'clock before I can marry him. And this guy he wants today says God said he should focus on media. It wasn't making sense to her. You know.
She did not know you would be the one to take her name all over the world.
Oh, you know. And today we have a lot of young people that we've empowered, you know, a lot of people doing skits, you know, comedy, both those who've inspired, those who've helped, you know, and we have a lot of staffs, you know, people who've trained, and they are all doing very well, you know, because of the move, right?
Yes, because of the move.
I mean, because you are literally an apostle in that space. That's what you have. Yeah. You're an apostle in that space. You had God, you followed God, and look at the story now. Yeah. Consecration.
True.
Consecration. I remember when I came to the US 22, yesterday makes it 22 years that I moved to the US. There was a man that lived around where my wife and I were living, a Nigerian man who has been in America much longer. So we were a young couple, because that was the year we married. We've been married for 22 plus years now. So that was the year we married. So he saw me. I was like 29 years old then. He said, "Oh, how are you doing, young man? You just came from Nigeria." I said, "Yes." He said, "What do you do?" I said, I'm a pharmacist by training." He said, "You're a pharmacist? You are the one that will make money." And I knew what God told me. Before I left Nigeria, God told me, he said, "Your days in pharmacy are over."
Wow.
This man tormented my life. It was like a demon sent from hell to harass my destiny. You know, because the Nigerian community in the little city I stayed was very small. So we always see each other whenever somebody is doing something. This man will see me and say, "My brother, come here. The pharmacy thing I told you the other time, what about it?" You know, I came under much pressure to the extent that I went to collect the form. You know, there's a form you fill to do transfer exam, and it's for pharmacists it's quite easy. Unlike medicine you do multiple exams. As of then, 22 years ago, all you needed to do was one exam, and you start making $120,000 then in America. So I collected the form. The day I wanted to fill it, as I began to fill it, I had a voice from heaven: "If you fill that form, you are finished." Do you know the form is still in my room till today? I kept it as a memorial.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to finish before my time. Can you imagine? Do you know I could have gone that part? Fill the form by force.
Yeah,
end up in one green or CVS or one hospital, and you know, have some money, you know, I will be rich, I'll be a good Christian, you know, out of the will of God.
True.
Thank God for real estate, thank God for cars, thank God for material things, but they are nothing compared to be in the will of God.
That's true.
Yes.
The impact your skits have made on millions, can you quantify it?
At all.
You can't.
The testimonies are mind-blowing.
I mean, if somebody blesses you with $10 million today, that would be good. But you know, the impact is beyond what you can put any dollar amount to.
That's true. That's true.
Souls changed, marriages saved. I repeat, marriages saved because of your skits. Young men, young women who are going the wrong path as far as relationship is concerned, watch your skits and they realize this is not going to work. The Spirit of God spoke to them expressly through your creative expressions. And that's what worship is all about. So if we really want to worship God, it's not just about lifting up our hands on a Sunday morning. It's about living our life, not following our will, but following his will.
That's true.
I tell people, if Jesus in Luke chapter 22, verse 42 had to say, not my will, but your will be done, you can't trust your will. Jesus did not trust his own will. He had to submit his will to the Lord. I mean, I won't lie to you. There have been days, especially early. I mean, as a young man, you got married. You're a pharmacist now. I remember early days in California. My wife would go to work. I would be at home praying, doing ministry. And I did not even have a church then. And God said, no pharmacy. It was tough. I'm like, if you want to call me now. But he said, calm down. I have a major work for you. Pharmacy would be a distraction.
Yeah.
I could have become impatient, run out of God's will, go do my thing in the name of wisdom. I'm so sure there were people that tried to counsel you as young couples. You people use wisdom with what you are doing. Please, can you talk about that? The counsels of Ahithophel.
Of course.
Of course.
Please, can you share with us some of the experiences you had about people trying to talk you out of the path that God will have you follow? Okay, I think there's a challenge. I think maybe.
In fact, I remember when we got married, you know, a number of persons, in fact, my friends, when it was really, when we got married, the earlier stage of, marriage, wasn't all comfortable like it is now. You know, it was a lot. Hello.
Wow. The thing is buffering. Maybe I'll take you out and bring you back in. It's kind of buffering. Let me see. I'll bring you back in. So Anu, as the Winlos are planning to come back, tell us your own story. How did you start singing?
When I was very small, I used to do this chanting, this Ewi, Ricky. So
Ewi.
I did for my church for their anniversary, and so like automatically like that I was inside the choir. So until two of my friends, they went to meet the choir master and they were like, why won't you let my friend sing? Why won't you? She has a good voice, more than everybody.
How old were you then?
I think I was 13. Around 13.
We will come back to that. Let's go back to Mrs. Winlos briefly. So you were telling us about how some of your friends were like, you people use wisdom. Oh, yeah, let me hear that story. He says, wow, it's still hanging. Hopefully it will be. I think.
Okay, so Pastor, initially when we got married, it wasn't as comfortable as it is now. Like it was really, we had our tough moments, and all that. So I remember times when maybe it's still bad.
Wow. The internet, the Peoria internet. So, Anu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the Winlos are coming back. So tell me, so at 15, you started singing?
At 13, sir.
13?
Yes, well, it has always been like an imagination. When I hear people sing, I just imagine, okay, probably I can sing something like that. Not until my friends went to confront the choir master. I was like, why won't you let my friends sing? So they had to give me a chance to sing, to lead a song, and it was awesome. And since then, I've just been proud of my voice.
Wow. So what did you study in university?
Computer science.
Wow. So you are a computer scientist too. So BC, if I get the story right, BC was your lecturer.
Yes.
So it was your lecturer that put you into music. The lecturer that was supposed to be teaching you computer science
Yes, sir.
recruited you into his group.
Yes, that's to be precise.
Do you see any future in computer science?
Well,
Not
I'm trying
anymore.
to put all my eggs in one basket. So I still learn some things like Photoshop, computer vision. I still learn that small. But majorly singing.
Majorly singing. Okay, now that we're back, the Winlos. I want to hear that story because it's a lot of young women are out there that need this. Because thank God you did not fight your husband when your husband said, God spoke to me. Because the amazing thing is, it was him that God spoke to.
Yeah.
True.
It takes a woman that understands her place in marriage to say, okay, let's do it eventually.
Yeah.
So let's hear about the story about how some of your friends were like,
In fact, some of my
do you know
friends
what you're
told
doing?
me that, you see, you want to just suffer for nothing. You want to suffer for nothing, you know. Even one of my friends that knew that I was, you know, I had like options, like, you know, before I got married to him, was like, you see, when that married that particular guy now, he's working in oil company. You'd have been, you'd have been taking all this, your skin would have been so fresh, you know, and all that. So I got a lot of pressure. You know, there was one of my friends that started sending applications, saying, this your husband, he will be good working in this company, telling him to apply. Yeah, it was.
And some of our friends, okay, there's one particular one who would always call me, and like she will call me directly. This one is not saying that, Ois, I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with you. Must you be a pastor? Must you be a pastor? What is wrong with you?
when I will see my pictures, even my mom, it's not only just friends. Like when I post pictures on Facebook, they will call me, especially because they knew us in the church we were attending before we got married. They'll call my husband and say, look at how really she's suffering. See the way she looks now. Someone that used to be fine, flashy. Since she married you, she's not longer looking the same. You know, my friends will complain. They will even send me clothes though, but even at that they will complain. They would talk. It was a very horrible one. Like it was really horrible. But I thank God through it all that irrespective of what, there was peace of mind because we were stayed on God. You know, all those whose minds are stayed on Him. So I wasn't staying on what I was hearing from people. Every time I heard it, I had a sieve because I was with Him. I was stayed on Him. So every time I heard all those things, I had a sieve, you know, in His presence that I was able to get empowered to deal with the pressures out there. So that's actually what happened. But there was pressure. In fact, when our skits were, was it, you know, the story where they started getting mails at the time when our skits went viral?
Okay, yes. When our skits went viral a year after we started. In short, the year we started, what happened was this. I was running contracts with the universities in Benin. As a young man, I registered my company at that in my 20s, and I was running contracts. You know, that was when God told me to stop that, stop business and go into ministry. So the little money I had, I used it to buy camera and some gadgets so that we can start the Winlos. But the month we started, that we shot our first skits, robbers came and they took all the equipment. Wow. They stole everything. you know, that was what we're depending on. That, okay, since we have equipment, we are ready for the media space. Robbers came and cleared everything. Yeah, as at that time, it was over 4 million naira, you know, and we needed to go borrow money to start again, you know. So I just got loan from my mom's school. They just helped me and gave me loan. So we invested again and bought equipment so that we can be using to shoot skits. And we started shooting skits, and before it got to a year again, this time, the first time robbers robbed me in the city of Asaba, you know. This time, robbers came to our house the second time with guns, you know, got into our bedroom, you know, and where is your money? Where is your money? We had no money to give to them. The only thing I was just thinking of were my cameras, my laptops, they were in the parlor. They cleared everything again.
The second time.
The second time in the pace of 1 year. Wow. We were down. We didn't know what to do. You know, we needed to pack out of the house. You know, my daughter was experiencing shock. My wife, she couldn't recover from it as well too. You know, it was a very terrible experience. You know, meanwhile, on the other side, people were watching our skits and they were blessed. They were expecting God Told Me to Marry You part 2, because we just did the part 1 of the skit. So they were waiting for part 2. And they did not know what we were going through at this end to make sure things happen. And we were not boxed up. We're not paid and all the stuff. Now, we were in serious debt.
Serious debts.
On Sunday, I couldn't preach. One of our senior pastors came to help me preach in church. I thought he was going to help the situation, but he made the situation worse. Because he started preaching, you know, when the devil attacks you like this, is either you have put you on a serious sin, you know, do you sleep with girls in church? Do you pay tithes? The reason why your life is tight is because you are not a tither. He said, oh,
you know that takes me back to the experience I said I had as a young Christian.
Yes.
That spirit of condemnation.
Yes.
Let's even assume you have challenges.
Yes.
With some of the things you are talking about. He said God he has not that is not God's method of operation. He's a gracious Father.
He is.
He does not encourage sin but yet he loves us.
He's a loving
unconditionally.
Yes.
You know, when people begin to present this image of a conditional God, that you have to be perfect before he can work with you, not realizing God specializes in working with flawed men to achieve his perfect purpose.
True. So he kept on at that sermon. I actually was crying in church because it was bad. In the pace of 1 year, Robert had robbed me 2 times, and I was in serious debt, or we're in serious debt. We didn't know where to run to. And he just kept on like that, you know. At the end of when he saw me crying, he thought the message was touching me, but I actually was crying to my father. I was in pains, you know. But there was one thing that we had, both of us, was the fact that there was a driving force. As at that time, we just had like, if people really watch our videos, maybe like 100 people, you know, or 50. So it's not that people are not really watching our videos. So what was propelling these guys in this thing?
Instruction.
You know, it was basically instruction. So when we realized that we needed to shoot that same week, I went to my friend's studio, borrowed this camera, you know, shot this kid, God Told Me to Marry You, this school now, you know. So when we shot it, realized that the audio wasn't good, you know. So we came back again to reshoot the skits. You know, so while I was editing the skit, I called my wife that night. We were so tired, just came back from police station, you know, trying to settle the police case. I told my wife, I said, this speaking in tongues, I don't like it. This school, zuka, tada in this video, I don't like it. She said, are you not tired? Just put the video out there. Let's go and rest. So we just uploaded the video and put it out there. And in less than 24 hours, we're getting messages all over the world. Somebody just sent me a message from South Africa and said, your video is over 1 million views. I said, wow, it doesn't happen, you know. I just started getting messages from Ethiopia, from all over the world. People were watching the videos. In 3 days' time, because as at that time, Instagram was not functioning. So we just had Facebook and YouTube. We're using our website then. In three days after, our website crashed because of traffic. Because of traffic.
So you came out of a major attack.
Major
attack. You moved into a major breakthrough.
So, Pastor, it was very clear to us at that particular time that there was something the devil saw, about our future. The devil doesn't have the capacity to know, but it can sense things. It can sense our direction. So the devil saw it. He was sensing it. So he was doing everything in his capacity to distract us, to cause us pain, to make us give up. But because we did not give up, we now got into it. It was huge. I mean, all over the world, we're getting calls, from white audience, from Jamaica, everywhere. And that was how we just launched the ministry officially. So I told my wife, people will start inviting us. We need to start our physical stage plays. So we started acting on stage. And of course, we started going everywhere, acting drama, and the rest is history. Now to your question, to what we were talking about. So when people started talking about our skits and all those stuff, we started getting offers. So we had fame, but there was no money. So our first offer was international. It's not all these local offer that people get and they now start talking bomb and start, they start talking nudity. Ours was an international offer. The guy called us from South Africa and said, let's meet in Ethiopia. Yourself and your wife, you guys are good. We can take this thing to the next level. So he started talking about the international people they've helped in this skit business. And they have the capacity to take us around the world. The guy sent me a mail and said, go through it. I responded back to the man. I said, sir, I need you to watch our videos very well. Because it's like you just watch one. You doesn't want to determine who we are. We are not those comedians per se. We are ministers of God. The man looked at us and like, these guys are not serious. And he said, anyway, when you guys are ready, call me. Then we'll go into business. And years after, till date, we have not called back. So they wanted us to remove Jesus. You and your wife just tweak your waist a little, just do this and all those stuff.
Edit Jesus out of it.
Yeah,
edit him out of it, But till this moment, we still stand for Jesus and we'll keep standing for him till we die. So those challenges were there. Offers came. People told us how best you guys can do this stuff.
Make money.
You guys will make money. You guys will be rich. But then we knew the purpose and the assignment at which God has called us for, that it is for the kingdom.
Yeah.
So we told ourselves, if we perish, we perish. Let us hold on to this plow without looking back. We saw God in it. The challenges were there, financial challenges, all manner of challenges were creating skills. People were enjoying it from the end, but they didn't know what we were going through from this other end, and we kept at it. The testimonies were our driving force. The changed life were our driving force. We just kept doing it and doing it and doing it until today. It became very normal for us, and God's name has been glorified.
Yeah.
This is such an amazing testimony. It blesses my heart so dearly.
Hallelujah.
And I believe so many people out there have been encouraged today.
Hallelujah.
The battle is the fairest. Fear is at the height of it, just before a major breakthrough.
Yes.
And with your breakthrough comes temptations too.
True.
The breakthrough came, then temptations followed.
True.
Are you going to now redefine what brought you the? I tell people all the time, there are a lot of people out there in the secular space that came out of church. I have some facts. The leading female singer in the secular space today, you can mention 3 before you mention Tiwa Savage, right?
Yes.
Pastor Tiwa Savage.
Wow.
In UK, she was a choir member, House
Wow.
on the Rock, London.
Wow. Wow.
That's a foundation.
Wow. 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 The point is, the glory will still come. You know, what the devil does is that, you know, that was what happened to Jesus Christ. The moment Jesus' announcement came, the next thing the devil came was to give an offer. You know, if you can bow, I will give you the word. But we should understand that even the devil does not have the word. Whatever he gives to us is just to gratify them. And the flesh does not last. We are spirit beings. We are just passive. But the devil wants to make us comfortable in this world. And that's our purpose and our assignment.
That's right.
Now you get the cars, you get the house, you get all the trips, you get everything. But the point is this: you still experience any of them. There is still this vacuum that is drawing them to God. There's still this vacuum. But at every point they think that we need to still cash. No, we need to push more content out there. Maybe we'll get appreciated or not. They are under pressure. I mean, under pressure. Still no satisfaction, you know. But the greatest testimony a man can ever get in his life is that I am in Christ, and through my life I brought millions or thousands of people to the glory of God.
That's right.
Because in the end of this our race, every one of us will give account of our work.
We will give account
of our work.
I mean, look at me now.
Of our talent,
tomorrow,
of our skills.
Tomorrow I'm turning 50. I mean, I'm still going to be around for a long time by the grace of God. But the truth of the matter is, a good percentage of my life has been spent already on that.
True.
So, is it a car? Is it houses? What are the things that really define my success? Nothing defines you and your success more than walking in the purpose of God for your life.
That's true. That's true.
You know, my dear sister could have ended as a medical doctor in Ghana or even moved to the United States.
Yeah, true.
I mean, in working as a medical doctor in John Hopkins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And people will see her and say, wow, what a lovely doctor. Not realizing this person you call a doctor was wired to be somebody that we do through drama.
Yeah.
We impact the world. You think you saw a doctor, but God says, no, I made somebody to function in a creative space for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And just because you have the brain for medicine, I mean, the reason why I ended up in pharmacy school was because I was brilliant.
Yeah.
And my parents felt you could do anything. You had distinction in math. I mean, you are good. In fact, my dad wanted me to be a doctor. So we said, okay, I won't do medicine, I will do pharmacy. Yeah. But at the end of the day, even it was not the will of God. And God said, I have a better plan for your life. Just because you are brilliant does not mean you are. I mean, look at the gentleman that spoke just a while ago. PhD, doing PhD in computer engineering, science. Brilliant student. The student record of his school till today.
Yeah.
But God says, really a computer science person, I have a better plan for you. It's in music.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, for not holding back. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to see you in the evening in person for the first time.
Can't wait to see you, sir.
Can't wait to come and eat Chicago.
I'm looking forward.
Jollof rice and fried rice.
Yes, so we eat it together. And thank you for also. And he's a very shy individual, extremely shy. She doesn't want. I have to bring her. She's in one of our churches in Akure, so I said, bringing out today by force.
Wow.
And she sings beautifully. Song for us before we close the program.
Okay. Thank you for not leaving me to the wishes of my enemies.
Wow.
Thank you for fighting my battles. Jehovah Olupeja. Thank you for not leaving me to the wishes of my enemies. Thank you for fighting my battles for me. Jehovah Olupeja.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Anu. And the Winlos,
God bless.
Thank you. Thank
and
you very much.
God told me, he said, this particular trip to the US, prophecy,
Amen.
and it's a beginning of a new phase.
Amen.
A new phase of international expression, a global platform to reach much more.
Amen.
And one of the things I saw in my spirit is I saw you having a global platform for training gospel drama ministers, a very global platform for discipling. God told me, he said, the latter part of your life about discipling more than acting.
Amen.
It's going to be more about discipling people in that space. A season is coming that a major part of your assignment will be to raise, let me put it this way, dry evangelists and release them to the hands of the heart. Trained, equipped. Because God told me, he said, very strong in your heart is the drive to impact. You just want to act. But beyond acting, when there's a capacity to impact and empower a generation to fill that space. I see you doing a lot of that. And welcome to this new season. And thank you for sharing this amazing day with me. See you later on in Chicago. Thank you, everybody.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice time, sir. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Thanks for joining.